Hi guys, today I'm going to read a book that's called Jansen, The Mystery at the Haunted House. David A. Ader. Chapter 1. Crash! Eric Sheldon was driving a small racing car in an amusement park. They turned and shouted to Cam Jansen, "Stop it! Stop crashing into me!" Eric held on to the steering wheel with both hands and gently pressed the pedal with his foot. The car moved slowly forward until it was close to one ahead. Eric stepped lightly on the brake pedal. His car stopped. Eric closed his eyes and clenched his teeth. He knew Cam would move her car forward, too. She was sure she would crash into him. Eric waited, then he felt Cam's car softly touch his. Eric turned around and said, "That's better." Eric moved his car up again and stopped. He unhooked the safety belt and stepped out onto the platform beside the racetrack. Crash! Cam had driven right into the back of Eric's car. She stepped out and met Eric at the exit. "That was a great ride," Cam said. Eric said, "It was fun into the end. Why do you keep bumping into me? My pedal was loose anyway. The cars have those big bumpers because they accept us to crash." It was a warm spring Sunday afternoon. Cam and Eric were in the park with Cam, Aunt Katie, and Uncle George. "There they are," Cam said. She pointed to two old people sitting on the bench. Aunt Katie was talking to a woman pushing a baby carriage. Until George was holding a cane and resting. His eyes were closed and his legs were stretching out in front of him. "Isn't she just the cutest baby?" Aunt Katie said to Cam. "Yes, she's very cute." Cam looked around and asked, "What ride are we going on next? Look at her hair. Look at those tiny girls. I see her hair. And Katie's. It's very nice." Cam said, then she whispered, "Eric has a baby brother named Howie. I can see him anytime I want. But this is the only chance I have to take these rides." Aunt Katie stood and said, "You're right. I told you would go on every ride we can, and we will. Where should we go next?" Cam closed her eyes and said, "Click." "What is she doing?" the woman with the baby carrying asked. Eric explained, "Cam has a photographic memory. She can take one look at something and remember it perfectly. As if she has a mental camera and photographs stored in her head. Whenever she wants to remember something, she says, 'Click.' That's the sound her mental camera makes." And Kenny told the woman, "When Cam was a baby, we called her Jennifer. That's her real name. But as soon as we find out her amazing memory, we've been calling her the camera. Soon, the camera will shorten to Cam." "I'm looking at the picture of the map we saw when we came to the park," Cam said. Her eyes were still closed. "If we go up the road to the left, we'll pass the park cuckoo and train rides and the haunted house. To the right are the merry-go-round, pony rides, and the gift shop." "Amazing," the woman with the baby carrying said. "Watch out," Eric called. Cam opened her eyes. Two teenage boys on roller skates were coming toward Cam, Eric, Aunt Katie, and the woman with the baby. Cam moved to the left. Eric and the woman moved to the right. Aunt Katie didn't know which way to go. First she moved to the right, then she moved to the left. Crash! One of the boys couldn't stop. He went right into Aunt Katie. Oh my, she said as she fell to the ground. The boys tried to help her, but they couldn't. Each time they started to pull her up, they rolled on their skates and fell again. Finally came Eric and Uncle George held her to the bed. Oh my, Aunt Katie said as she sat down. We're very sorry, the boys said. Then they rode down the road toward the parachute ride. And Katie brushed off her clothes. Uncle George helped her. Are you hurt? Eric said. And Katie smiled and said, No, I'm fine. Let's go to the next ride. Let's go to the haunted house. Oh, yes, Eric said. I like to be scared. Tom puffed out her cheeks. She held her hand over to her head, waved them, and yelled, Boo! Uncle George held his hand to his heart. Katie said, Oh, my. Eric said, They're just being nice. You're not scary at all. Well, then let's go to the haunted house, Aunt Katie said. I'm sure it will be very scary. Chapter 2. Cam, Eric, Aunt Katie, and Uncle George walked up the road to the left. Wow, wow. Oh, look, there's a baby crying, Cam said. She and Eric walked quickly ahead. Why are you crying, Cam asked the little girl. Wah, wah. She lost her balloon, the child mother said. It caught in a tree. I tied it to her straw. Somehow, it came off. Cam said, If I stand on the bench, maybe I can reach it. You might fall, Aunt Katie said. I think you should call one of the guards. I should get a ladder, Eric said. Uncle George turned to his king around with the curve and he caught a loop on the string and pulled the balloon down. He gave it to the child. Oh, thank you, the child mother said. Uncle George touched his cap, smiled, and walked ahead. He doesn't talk much, does he? Eric whispered to Cam. Uncle George said it's a noisy world. He says most people talk too much and too loud. Oh my, Aunt Katie said. The teenage boy was skating toward them. Aunt Katie and Uncle George went quickly to the side of the road and let them skate past. They shouldn't be allowed to race around here like that, Aunt Katie said. Cam, Eric, Aunt Katie, and Uncle George walked to the haunted house. They waited at the end of a long line outside the entrance. A group was let into the house. Cam, Eric, and the others moved forward until they were near a large sign. Cam read it aloud. Warning! Small children and nervous adults, keep out. Inside are sudden noises and scary effects. Enter at your own risk. Maybe we should try the merry-go-round instead, Aunt Katie said. We're not small children, Eric told her. We're 10 years old. I want to go in, Cam said as she ran her fingers through her hair. She has what people call bright red hair, even though it is more orange than red. Eric's hair is dark brown. The exit door opened. A girl holding her mother's hand came out smiling. That was great, she said. A few more people came out. They were smiling, talking, and laughing. Then a woman in a blue dress came out holding her hand to her chest. That was scary, she said. I never so scared in all my life. Cam, Eric, and the others watched her walk to a bench and sit down. She looks terrible, Aunt Katie said. Maybe we shouldn't go in. The entrance door opened. The guard standing there said, Let's go, move ahead. We have a room inside for a few more people. Cam, Eric, and the others moved closer to the entrance. Are you together? The guard asked. Yes, Cam said. Okay, all 4 of you can go in. The rest of you will have to wait. The door closed behind Cam, Eric, and Katie, and Uncle George. It was dark inside the house. They followed dim purple light past a pink team of moving lights. A low, deep voice said, "Welcome to my home." "Oh my," Aunt Katy said. Plastic skeletons that shone in the dark were hanging from the ceiling. A tape of scary sounds was playing. Eric whispered to Kale, "This is not very scary." A door cracked open and they heard someone scream, "Oh, help! There's something scary ahead," Cam whispered. Eric moved closer to Cam and Uncle George. A toy black cat that almost looked real jumped off a bookcase shelf. It fell close to Cam and Eric. Then it stopped. It was held by a string. "Oh my," Aunt Katy said. Eric grabbed her by hand. "I'm not scared," he said. Then something dressed in black jumped at Katy. "Oh, help," she screamed. "Let go of me." Chapter 3. Aunt Katy reached for Uncle George and held onto his head. They followed the small purple lights past the spider webs and creeping furniture. A chair walked past them. The lights seemed to be falling in. Cam, Eric, Aunt Katy, and Uncle George walked faster. A door opened. They were outside the haunted house. "Oh my," Amy said. "That was scary, but I liked it." "That wasn't too scary," Eric said, "but I liked it too." "Did you see that?" a woman behind him asked. Something jumped right out of me. She opened her handbag and took out a candy. "Would you like one?" "No, thank you," Cam said. "I need something, but not candy," Aunt Katy said. "I need a cup of hot tea." Cam closed her eyes and said, "Click." "There's a refreshment stand just past the log ride," Cam said. She opened her eyes. "Follow me." "Will you look at that?" Aunt Katy said when they reached the refreshment stand. "We even have to wait in line to buy a drink." Aunt Katy and Uncle George stood at the end of the line. Cam and Eric went to the log ride. They watched people sitting in cut-out logs slide in a large pool of water. "That looks fun," Eric said. "Maybe we can do that next." Cam and Eric walked back to the refreshment stand. Aunt Katy and Uncle George was still near the end of the line. "Tell me what you want to eat," Aunt Katy said. "This is the only chance we have for refreshment. I won't wait in this line again." Cam and Eric looked at the list of items being sold. "I would like to have some orange juice and pretzel," Cam said. "Please, could I have a vanilla ice cream pop?" Eric asked. He said. "Vanilla tea for me, an orange pop for George, coffee, and pretzels for Cam. And what did you want, Eric?" "I want a vanilla pop." "I'll mix up," Aunt Katy said. "Why don't you wait until it's our turn? Then you can tell me all you want." The line moved slowly. When they reached to the counter, the man there asked, "What would you like?" "I want a tea with lemon." "I know that," Aunt Katy said. "And George wants a regular coffee." Cam and Eric told the man what they wanted. He put it all on a cardboard tray and brought it to the counter. He told Aunt Katy what everything cost. Aunt Katy opened her handbag and reached in. Then she looked inside her handbag. She took out something wrapped in aluminum foil, a small notepad, and some pencils, and gave them to Cam to hold. "Please," the man behind the counter said. "There are other people waiting." "I can't find my wallet," Aunt Katy told him. Uncle George paid for the refreshment. He carried them from the counter to a table. Cam, Eric, and Aunt Katy followed him. As Aunt Katy walked to the table, she was still looking in her handbag. Aunt Katy took the pencils, notepad, and the small package wrapped in foil back from Cam. She put the pencils and notebook in her handbag. Maybe my wallet is in here," she said. She unwrapped the foil. Inside was a jelly sandwich. "Oh my," Aunt Katy said. "My wallet is gone. I know I had it when we came into the park. I paid for the entrance tickets. Aunt Katie took a bite of jelly sandwich, then wrapped it in foil again. Or did you pay for the tickets? Or did you pay for the tickets? She asked. Uncle George, maybe I left my wallet at home. No, Uncle George said. You paid for the tickets. He took Aunt Katie's hand and said, let's go, we have to find that wallet. Chapter 4. He spoke, Eric whispered. Aunt Katie quickly drank her tea and went with Uncle George. Cam and Eric ran to catch up with them. Where are you going? Cam asked. We're looking for one of the park policemen, Aunt Katie said. I saw one here before. He wore a nice blue uniform, had a badge on, and carried a walkie-talkie. I think we should go to park entrance, Eric said. That's the last place you remember having your wallet. My father once left his wallet at the ticket booth of the movie theater. Look, Cam said. There's a police officer. Cam ran to the officer. She came back a few minutes later and told Aunt Katie she said we should go to the security office. She told me where it is. Follow me. The security office was in a small building near the merry-go-round. Cam, Eric, and Katie and Uncle George went inside. Oh my, Aunt Katie said. There's a line here too. Aunt Katie and Uncle George got in line behind a woman in blue dress. Cam and Eric went to the park entrance. Many people were coming into the park. Cam tried to push one of the turnstiles to go out. A man on the other side was pushing it in. It doesn't go that way, the man said. Come on, Eric said. We have to go through the gate over there. But first we have to get our hands down so we can come back in. At the gate, a woman pressed a rubber stamp onto an ink pad and then onto the backs of Cam and Eric hands. There's nothing on my hand, Cam said. The woman said, yes, there is. When you're ready to come back into the park, I'll pass your hands under a special light. Then you'll see what I snapped. You'll be surprised. Cam and Eric walked through the gate. Cam was still looking at her hand. There are several ticket booths. Eric pointed to one and said, this is it. This is where Aunt Katie bought the tickets. It has the shortest line. Cam and Eric walked to the front of the line. A man surrounded with children was next. We don't want to buy tickets, Eric told the man. I don't want to buy tickets either, but it's the only way to get into the park. We're already in the park, Eric said. Look at my hand. It's stamped. The man looked at Eric's hand and smiled. There's nothing on your hand, but you can go ahead of me. Tickets. Cam closed her eyes and said, quick. Eric said to the ticket seller, my friend Aunt was here about 2 hours. We think she may have left her wallet. Click. I have a credit card that someone forgot and 2 pens, a newspaper and a magazine, but no wallet. Eric, Cam said, Eric, I know where Aunt Katie's wallet is. She didn't leave it somewhere. It was stolen and I know who took it. Who was it? Chapter 5. Who was it? Who stole her wallet? Eric asked. Those roller skating boys, the ones who knocked Aunt Katie down. They took it. Pickpockets work like that in teams. They bump into people and reach into their pockets or handbags. Come on, we have to find them. Cam walked to the turnstiles. May I have your ticket, please? The guard standing there said. We were in already. Our hands were stamped. The guard pointed to the left and said, you have to go to the re-entry gate. Cam and Eric ran to the gate. Soon you're back here too, the woman there said. Now you will see what I stamped on your hand. Every day I will use a different stamp. She held Cam's hand under a small lamp. It's a frog sitting on a lily pad, Cam said. Yesterday I used my stump of a rabbit eating a carrot. Eric passed his hand under the lamp. Then he asked Cam, where do we look for them? They're skating along the path. They probably still are. Cam and Eric walked past a popcorn wagon, a shop selling posters, and postcards, and a racing car ride. Cam was walking quickly. Eric had to hurry to keep up with her. Why are we looking for them? Eric asked. Why don't we just tell one of the guards? They have walkie-talkies. They could find the boys real fast. Cam turned while she was walking and told Eric, because I don't know for sure that they stole the wallet. I clipped, but I don't have a picture of them taking it. Watch it. Watch where you're going, Emil said. Cam had bumped into him. I'm sorry, Cam said. She walked more slowly now and looked ahead as she spoke to Eric. We'll follow them. As soon as they knock into someone, we'll check if his wallet's missing. If it is, we'll know those boys are thieves. Then we'll tell the guards. Eric smiled. Did you take his wallet? Did you take his wallet? Whose? That man you bumped into. We're a team. They walked in together and you bumped into that man. How did you take this wallet? Of course not, but that's why we have to see what happens when those skaters bump into someone else. Maybe I'm wrong. Cam and Eric walked past a small shop selling magic tricks, stuffed animals, and children's books. They had walked past a spinning cat ride and a very long line of people waiting to ride the roller coaster. Suddenly, Cam ran ahead, pointing and shouting, Look, there they are. The two boys were skating on a path around a small pond. There were ducks, geese, and few swans in the pond. Cam ran after the boys. Eric followed her. The boys skated past a woman and her two children. They skated between a man and his son. Cam almost bumped into the man. Excuse me, she said. Excuse me too, Eric said. The boys skated past a man who was throwing breadcrumbs to the duck, geese, and swan. The noise of the skates scared them and a few of the ducks flew off. Eric stopped running. He sat on a bench and scratched out his legs. When Cam saw him there, she stopped too. I can't keep up with them, Eric said to Cam. Neither can I. They sat on a bench and watched the boys skate around the pond. A few people had to move quickly to get out of their way. One moment yelled at the boys, but they didn't stop. They skated faster and faster until they knocked into a man's sailing balloon. When he fell to the ground, one of his balloons fell off. Cam jumped up from the bench. You help the man, she told Eric. Then check if his wallet has been stolen. I'll get some more from security. One of the boys reached out his hand and said to the man, Let me help you up. The man pushed his hand away and said, Don't help me, just take off those skates. Your boys are a danger. I'll help you, Eric said. The man reached out and held onto Eric's hand and pulled himself up. We're sorry, one of the boys said. Then both boys skated off. Cam ran past the shops. Then near the spinning hat ride, she saw a security guard. Just as Cam reached the guard, the boys skated past. Thrill. The guard blew his whistle. He ran after the boys. Cam followed him. Stop that. Stop skating. The guard couldn't keep up with the boy. He waved hard at him, but they didn't seem to notice. The guard stopped running. He took the walkie-talkie off his belt and spoke into it. This is Frankie Section 4. Two teenage boys just skate past me toward the roller coaster. Maybe you can stop them. I couldn't. They bumped into my aunt. Cam told the guard. They knocked her down and wait, Cam turned. Eric was running toward her. Don't tell him, he called out. Don't tell him. Chapter 6. When Eric reached camp, he took a deep breath and said, They didn't take his wallet. The man still has it. The guard was a tall, thin man. He looked down at Cam and asked, Do you have something else to tell me? No. The guard spoke into his walkie-talkie again. This is Frenchie Section 4. I'm going back to my post, he said. Then he walked back to the spinning hat ride. What do we do now? Eric asked. Let's go back to the security office. Aunt Kitty and Uncle George may have be worried about us. They walked past the spinning hat ride. Children sitting in the hats were laughing and shouting as they spun around. People on the log ride and on the merry-go-round seemed to have a good time too. You know, Eric said, every time I go someplace with you, something seems to happen. I'd rather spin around in a hat or sit in a log floating in water than chase two boys on roller skates. And Kitty and Uncle George had answered some questions and signed some papers, but they hadn't found the wallet. They were outside the security office waiting for Cam and Eric. We won't let this ruin our day, Aunt Kitty said. Let's go on some more rides. When we're ready to leave the park, we'll stop at the Lost and Found department. I'm sure my wallet will turn up. Eric said, I'd like to go on the spinning cat ride. It looks like lots of fun, and I know just where it is. As they followed him to the ride, Aunt Kitty said, I wasn't the only one who lost a wallet today. The one just ahead of me in line lost her wallet too. Cam stopped walking. She closed her eyes and said, click. Eric and Katie and Uncle George stopped and watched Cam. Click, click. Cam opened her eyes. She smiled and walked ahead. Cam stopped when they came to the haunted house. Let's go through here again, she said. It was fun before and the line is short now. Eric did not want to go through the house again, but Cam instead. After a few minutes, the doors opened and they went inside. Eric smiled at the painting with the moving eyes. When the low, deep voice said, Welcome to my home, Eric said. Thank you. The door creaked open. Someone screamed, Help, help! A toy black cat jumped on a shelf at them. Eric waved his arm at the cat and yelled, Boo! Oh my, Aunt Kitty said. You didn't scare the cat, but you did scare me. They followed a small purple lights past the spider web and creaking furniture. The chair walked past them again, and the wall seemed to be falling down. Then the door opened and they were outside. That wasn't scary the second time, Aunt Kitty said. It wasn't scary at all, Eric said. Now let's go to the spinning hats. That will be fun. Eric stopped to walk ahead. Stop, Uncle George called. Where's Cam? Aunt Katie and Eric looked around. Oh my, Aunt Katie said. She never came out of that house. Chapter 7. Aunt Katie went to the guard standing by the exit and said, My niece went through with us and she's still in there. She may be lost or hurt. How old is she? 10. She's old enough to follow the lights. Don't worry. No one gets lost in the house. Some people just take longer than others to go through it. Eric, Aunt Katie, and Uncle George waited outside the exit door. Some of the people coming out of the haunted house looked scared. Others came out smiling and laughing. Aunt Katie looked at her watch. The door opened. More people came out, but Cam wasn't with them. Aunt Katie looked at her watch again. Uncle George pat her head and said, Don't worry. Aunt Katie took a few steps to the left. She turned and took a few steps to the right. As she walked, she talked. Maybe she fell. Maybe the black cat scared her, or the moving eyes. As she fainted, I'm going back in there. I'm getting in line and going back in. Just then the door opened. A woman too young and two children and a young man and Cam came out of the house. And Kitty ran to her. "Oh, I was so worried," she told Cam. "Shh, I thought you were hurt or maybe lost." "Shh," Cam said again and pointed to the young man ahead. He was wearing a black shirt, black pants, and black shoes. He was carrying a small shopping bag. Cam followed him through the crowd. Eric, Kitty, and Uncle George followed Cam. When they came to the main path where there was more room to walk, Cam didn't follow the young man as closely. "Go one of the security guards," Cam whispered to Eric. "He's the one who stole Aunt Katie's wallet. He stole lots of other people's wallets too." Eric and Aunt Katie went into the security office. Cam and Uncle George followed the man through the gate to the parking lot. The young man went to a small green car. He opened the trunk and emptied the shopping bag into it. He looked around and then walked back toward Cam and Uncle George. Uncle George didn't want the young man to know he was watching him. He quickly went to one of the public telephones. He picked up the receiver and talked into it. "Yes, Ruthie?" "Yes, Ruthie." The man walked past Cam and Uncle George to the re-entry gate. "Should we follow him?" Uncle George whispered. "We don't have to. I know just where he's going," Cam smiled. "You can finish your telephone call to Ruthie." "What?" Uncle George looked at the telephone. He was still home. "Oh," he said and hung up. Cam waited a minute. Then she said, "We can go now." At the re-entry gate, Cam passed her hand under a small lamp. The woman said to Uncle George, "You're lucky. I remember so you can go in again. But you should have your hand stamp. Take a look at the stamp I used today. It's cute." Cam passed her hand under a small lamp again. Uncle George looked at it. "It's a frog sitting on a lily pad," Cam said. Cam and Uncle George met Eric and Aunt Katie outside the security office. Two security guards were with them. One guard was short and had a long curly beard. The other guard was a woman with long blonde hair. Cam said to him, I'll bet a lot of people came to you today and told your wallets have been stolen." "Yes. Well, if you follow me, I'll take you to the thief. I know where he's hiding." Chapter 8. They all followed Cam to the haunted house. Cam walked quickly. She also talked quickly. "Aunt Kitty gave me a first clue," she said to the woman ahead of her. "At the security office has lost her wallet too." "Well," I said, "click." I had seen that woman with the blue dress before. I had a picture of her stored in my head. She was the same scared woman we saw coming out of the haunted house. I said, "click" again. I remembered that someone jumped out at Aunt Katie. He must have jumped out at that woman too. That's why she was so scared. People thought the man dressed in black was there to scare them. He wasn't. He hid in the dark and stole from them. I watched him do that. They had reached the haunted house. The guards walked to the front of the line with Cam. The short guard went to the exit door. The guard with the long blonde hair told the guard at the house not to let anyone in. They waited for the people to leave the haunted house. Then the guard with the blonde hair said to Cam, "I'm Mary. Can you show me where the thief is hiding?" Cam and Mary went back into the haunted house. Mary turned on the lights. "He's not in here," Cam said. "He's in the next room." Cam followed Mary through the creaking door. Mary turned on the light. "There he is," Cam said and pointed. "Behind that curtain." The man dressed in black ran for the exit. Mary and Cam ran after him. The door opened. The man ran out, right into the arms of the short guard with the curly beard. Kim told Mary and the other guys that she and Uncle George had followed her to the parking lot. You're planning to find Aunt Katie's wallet and all the other missing wallets in the trunk of the green car. The guards told Aunt Katie that as soon as they found her wallet, she could be called to the security office. While you wait, Mary said, why don't you go on one of the rides? The thief was locked in handcuffs and led away by 2 guards. Cam, Eric, and Kitty and Uncle George watched as they walked off. They walked to the spinning hat ride. You know, Uncle George said as they walked, Aunt Katie and I are very proud of you. Uncle George stopped walking for a moment. He patted Cam's hand, looked at her, smiled, and said, that's all I'm going to say. Thank you, Cam said. Many people talk too much, but as you just say enough, I'm glad you're proud of me. Cam and Eric went to the spinning cat ride. Aunt Katie and Uncle George stood on the side and watched. Cam and Eric rode on an upside-down purple derby. In the center of a derby was a large metal wheel. The more they had turned the wheel, the faster the hat spun around. Cam kept turning the wheel. When Cam and Eric came off the ride, they were dizzy. Oh, Mike, Aunt Katie said, you were walking funny. May I have your attention, please? May I have your attention, please? Someone announced over the park loudspeaker. Would Stanley Johnson, Ainsley Newmark, Albert Gowden, Pat Baker, and Jessica Jones please come to the security office? Thank you. The wallets have been found in the man's truck, Kim said. Let's start walking toward the office. I'm sure Aunt Katie's name would be announced soon. As they walked through the park, they passed 2 teenage boys. Each boy was carrying a pair of roller skates. I guess someone finally stopped them from skating, Rick said. May I have your attention, please? Would Jane Taylor and Danny Zandler, Karen Kessler, and Katie J. Jansen please come to the security office? Thank you. That's me, Aunt Katie said. They found my wallet. There was a crowd of people at the security office. The thief was there too, along with several police officers. Aunt Katie's wallet was returned to her. Then Mary and a woman wearing a fancy flower print dress came over to meet Cam. This is the girl I told you about, Mary said to the woman. She found the thief. The woman held out her hand to Cam and said, I'm the owner of this park. My name is Dana Moore. I'm very grateful to you. Dana Moore was holding an envelope. She gave it to Cam and said, I'm sure that while you're chasing that thief, you missed some rides. I'm giving you 4 passes to come into the park as often as you want this month for free. Cam thanked Dana Moore. That's great, Eric said. We can come here during spring vacation. Uncle George and I would be happy to take you, Katie said. Eric said, maybe then we can spend the whole day going on rides. Maybe Cam won't find some mystery to solve or some thief to chase. Cam looked at Aunt Katie and Uncle George and said, maybe. Then she turned to Eric, smiled, and said, maybe a lot. The end. Make sure to subscribe and give it a thumbs up. Bye. See you next time.